We're going to explore this question. I'm 55 years old with no money, no retirement savings. What should I do? So stay tuned for more. Thank you for watching. This is Richard with Wisdom Investor. We're going to explore this question here today. I'm 55 years old. I have no savings and no retirement put aside. What should I do? Now, the good news, folks, in today's world, retirees have access to more money than ever. Not everybody is totally relying on Social Security out there. Now, the bad news here is the high cost of living and inflation with the cost of rent and mortgage is increasing ever so fast. So that's making it more and more important to have a savings in addition to your Social Security. So we're going to break this down here today in these three areas. Signs you may not have enough money to retire. Number 2, retirement savings tips for your 50s and 60s. And number 3, how to retire with no savings. Let's start with our first category here. What are signs we don't have enough savings? Here's a list of 5 areas where that could be a sign that you don't have enough money to retire. Number 1 here, there's no monthly budget. You're not looking at your expenses. You're not looking at your income. If you're not analyzing your budget, that could be a sign of trouble here down the road. Another sign is a high amount of debt. Think about how many cars you have, how many loans you have on those cars. What about credit cards? What's your credit card debt like? Number 3, difficulty with paying bills. Come up short each month. You start off good at the first of the month, but you're short on paying the bills at the end of the month. So you're going to have to rob the bank to pay those bills. No emergency plan. Number 4. We all have some type of emergency expense. Maybe you own a house. The roof is going to have to get fixed. The house is going to have to be painted. What about plumbing? What about health expenses? So you want to have some type of an emergency plan to cover future expenses. Number 5, you never looked at the future Social Security benefit. It's a good idea to get with the Social Security Administration and find out what your Social Security is going to be like in the future so you can start thinking about that. And then the big picture is based on how you're living your life and how your lifestyle is going. How do you feel about retiring? Does it seem like it's going to be impossible, or you feel like you're making some headway? So if you're in your 50s, you want to start to recognize what some of these signs are if you're not going to be ready to retire. Even if you're in your 40s, you want to start thinking about this because time moves fast. And if you're in your 60s, you'll already realize that, man, it's getting closer and closer here. We're going to look at the next category here, retirement savings tips for your 50s. The first thing you want to do in a situation like this is start to discuss it with your spouse or your significant other. I went to my wife and I've been thinking about this, and I approached my wife. I said, well, I'm thinking about retirement. And believe it or not, it just about floored her. I had been planning for retirement. I had been thinking about this for a long time. And she was really a hard worker. She really wasn't thinking about retirement. She was just thinking about her job and making money and making this thing work, whatever she was doing. And when I approached her with that, it really just dropped her jaw. And I think the first thing she was thinking was, you're going to retire and I'm going to continue to work. I think that was her initial reaction. And once we talked about it, I think she got a little bit more excited about it because she said, well, heck, I want to retire too. I'm working hard over here. Now, not every spouse thinks that way. If you approach your spouse about retiring, they may think, well, what about me? Am I going to get to retire? Now, some spouses don't want to retire. They want to continue working. Take a female who has been working with the kids for most of her life, and now she's in a job and she's moving forward in her career. She may not want to retire, and she may not like the fact that you're thinking about retiring. Now, the main point is here, we need to get everybody on the same wavelength. We need to get everybody thinking the same here so that you can prepare yourself for retirement. Okay, so let's take a look at some areas here. Number 2 here, Begin to look at your expenses. You've got to start evaluating your expenses. Number 3, start to evaluate your assets and savings. Do I have any money? Do I have savings built up? What's my situation here? Evaluate your debt. Is there car loan debt? Is there house debt? Is there credit card debt? Now, if you have a 401k at your work, you can start to add extra money to a 401k and do some catch-up options, okay? In 2021, you can put aside up to $19,500 into a 401k, and if you're 50 or over, you can add an additional $6,500 in catch-up contributions. Neglected some of your savings, you've got a job with a 401k, you can start to catch up by adding more money. And this can help you in a hurry. Begin to save an IRA. Get your 401k going, and you have extra money, put money into a Roth IRA. Start to think about your investment. You're going to get a bigger return by being involved in the stock market. Again, it's going to depend on your own personal risk levels that you want to take. If you had $100,000 saved up and you're able to earn 7% on your money, the rule of 72 says your money will double every 10 years. If you're 50 something, 55, you have 100,000, get 7% on your money, it's going to be 200,000 in 10 years. And then think about paying off your home mortgage. It's so important to get that home paid for. As we said in the beginning, one of the largest expenses out there that we have is our rent or home mortgage. If you can get your house paid off by the time you retire, you're going to be in much better shape. Now let's say you're past the age 55, maybe in your 60s, and there's just no savings. What are you going to do? First thing here I would be doing is I would evaluate my Social Security benefits so I know where I stand in the situation. Again, understanding your expenses is also very important, but evaluate your Social Security benefits. After you've looked at those two items, you may have to start to downsize your lifestyle. If you need additional income, add a roommate for additional income. Move in with the family. Now, this could be a touchy subject. Not everybody's going to be able to do that, but if you can, at least for a short period of time, move in with your daughter or your son, work out a deal so that you can maybe live there for a year or two. I know of a family that they're living with their daughter. They pay very little rent. It's a chance for them to start saving some money. They didn't save a whole lot in their earlier years, but now they're having a chance to play a little bit of catch up. Then the last thing I suggest here is work as long as you can. The longer you work, the greater your Social Security benefits grow. Expand your Social Security. Here's one thing you're going to want to understand about Social Security. You're going to understand what full retirement age is. If you were born after 1960, your full retirement age is going to be 67. Prior to that, your full retirement age is 66 in so many months. But here's an example. We talked about working as long as you can. We're going to use Colleen here, who's 62. If she waits till her full retirement age is 66 and a half, her Social Security is $2,000. If she takes it at 62, she's going to receive about 25% less, or $1,450. If she waits till age 70, it will grow to $2,560. So the longer that she can work, the greater her Social Security benefit is going to be. Keep in mind, if you're getting a Social Security benefit of $2,000 per month, that's equivalent to you having somewhere in a range of $250,000 to $300,000 saved up. So by you working a few extra years, that's like putting money in the savings. So in this situation, 55 years old and no savings and no retirement money, so what are you going to do? The first is look at the signs you may not have enough money to retire. Okay, are you paying your bills? Have you paid attention to your bank balance? Number 2, retirement savings tips. Start to put more money aside if you have a 401k. Look at your expenses and look at your income to see where you stand here. And then how to retire with no savings. Start to understand your Social Security and work as long as you possibly can. To see more of our videos, if you go down and click on the Wisdom Investor button, you'll come to the home page If you scroll down, you'll see all of our other videos. We have a category, Can I Work and Take Social Security? Then there's a category called Social Security Questions. Then there's a category Healthcare and Retirement, Investing in Stock Market Strategies, How Much Money Do I Need to Retire? And various other subjects. Thank you for watching and stay tuned for more updates.